Trading. Probably the most relaxing thing to do in Elites. But that's only once you know what you're doing. This video should get you raking in money for being a space trucker, even if you literally just started the game. This video will cover shipbuilding, finding a route, how to trade, and we'll end with a bonus tip to help you save time. If you've literally just booted up the game for the first time, your stock Sidewinder will work fine for trading. All you need to do is add in a few extra cargo racks. When docked at a station, enter Starport Services, go to Outfitting, and under Optional Internal, select an empty slot. Then choose the Cargo Racks option. Keep buying cargo racks to fill up all your empty slots. You should end up with 8 units of cargo space by doing this. That's plenty to be getting started with. If you've got a bit further into the game when you have a bit more money or a different ship, here are the ships I'd recommend for trading, all of which have Coriolis builds linked below. If you fancy changing the build around, then here's a list of modules you might need. The Type 6 in particular is a favourite for early game trade, so that's what I'll be using. Just a quick disclaimer that this video won't go over delivery missions. While they are technically part of trading, they are not as profitable and for me not as fun as the alternative I'm going to show you. Plus, if you really want to do them, you can work it out yourself, it's just like any other mission. Okay, back to the video. The strategy we'll be using is simple. Buy stuff that's cheap, go to where it's expensive, and sell it. This is how trading works in any game, in real life even. It is possible to find good trade routes using only in-game tools, but most people use a third-party site. In this video, I'll be showing you how to use my favourite third-party site, inara.cz. But if you would like to stick only to in-game resources, let me know and I'd love to make a video on that. Anyway, to find your best trade route, head to the site inara.cz. First select Inara for Elite, then on the homepage click Trade Routes, then Trade Routes Search. Fill in your current station here, change the max route distance to whatever you like, although if you're in the early game I'd suggest between 10 and 30 light years. And optionally you can open the advanced settings and set the cargo capacity to that of your ship, which you can find in the inventory tab of the right hand screen. In my Type 6, that's 100 units. Once you hit search, a list of what we call ABA routes should appear. If you've already got an okay amount of money in the bank, the top result is the best for you, that'll get you plenty of profit. If credits are an issue at the moment, especially if you've got less than about 100,000, scroll down the list until the unit cost, or that number there, is roughly 1,000 credits or less. That route should work for you. In any case, make note of the 2 materials you'll buy, and the name of the station and system on the right. Returning to the game, open the Commodities board in Starport Services. Make sure you're in the Buy tab, and scroll down to the first commodity from Inara. Select that and buy as much as you can afford and fit into your cargo. Now you'll want to fly to the station suggested in Inara. I'd use the galaxy map for this. Either type the system name in manually, or use the copy button in Inara to pass it over. Once you make it into the system, find the right station in the Navigation tab of the left-hand panel. Head there and dock the ship like normal. Once you have, open Starport Services and hop into the Commodities section. Select the Sell tab, and scroll down to the only option that isn't greyed out. Sell your goods, then change to the Buy tab. Now you'll want to scroll around until you find the other material suggested in Inara, the one that was on the right. When you find it, buy as much as you can afford and fit. If it's an expensive material like silver, and it often is, you might struggle to fill the hold if you're low on credits, but it doesn't matter. As long as you can afford a couple, you can build up the numbers as you go. Now set a route for the station you started at, in the same way as before. Once you land, repeat the process. Go into Commodities, sell what you've brought, buy what you need, and fly back. And repeat that. That's literally the whole process. If you find a good route, you could be making about 80,000 credits per trip in a starter Sidewinder, or in something like my Type 6, you're looking at about 1 million credits per trip. That's pretty good early money. Of course, there are plenty of ways to optimise trading further, but this method is great for getting you some early money and learning the ropes. Before we get to the last tip, I'd like to briefly cover one of the big dangers of trading. That danger is piracy. Your first warning sign is going to be a message like, "Ooh, that's the haul we've been looking for," or something like that in the chat on the top left. If you've got another system to jump to, I'd suggest you try and jump as soon as possible if you see this message. If you're in the system you need to be in, just hold tight for the pirate to try to interdict you. When this happens, your screen will be overlaid with this UI, which is essentially a minigame. First, set your throttle to what we call the blue zone, then fly the ship so the nose of it aligns with the centre of this circle. If you do well at this for about 20 seconds or so, then the UI will fade and you can go back to your journey. Once you've got into the flow of trading, this tip can help to massively streamline the process. Seriously, for me, this is an absolute game changer. Bookmark your stations. I get driven up the wall having to type in the system name every time. I know it sounds like a tiny little thing, but it really interrupts the serenity of travelling back and forth between stations. Here's a way to never do that ever again. In the galaxy map, search for the system name like you did before, but instead of plotting routes, hit this button to go into the system map. Find the station that you've been going to, select it, and then press this button to bookmark it. You'll also want to do that with the other end of your trade routes. Now, when you want to set a route to the other station, just press this button in the galaxy map, and look, the stations are right there. Again, I know this seems like the tiniest little complaint ever, but please try it. It just makes trading work for me. I can't explain why. And there we have it, I suppose. I hope trading helps you to make credits, buy a bigger, cooler ship, but most of all, just unwind from the stresses of life. To the epic people who've seen my uploads before and have sat through a video of stuff they probably already knew, I just want to say, hi, I'm finally making videos again after 3.5 months. Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, plenty of new videos in the pipeline. As always, thanks so much for watching. Hold on to your space legs and don't forget your limpets. Until next time, it's goodbye from Commander Dituri. That feels fun to say, oh yeah.